I wanted to give an update on my experiences with trying to talk to girls out here. And like I was saying before in another video, my situation is a bit interesting because it's not that I'm afraid to talk to them, it's that I was never allowed to. And so now that I can, it's just more or less trying to figure out how to approach it and what to say. So it's been interesting. I've talked to some of my friends about this, and they gave me some suggestions, mainly gaslight them. But I see what they mean. I understood what they meant. They just meant drive their emotions. So um, that's something I've been implementing and trying to do, and it does seem to be working. And so one thing I would say is don't be serious. Don't don't talk about serious things unless the situation calls for it. Just avoid anything serious because they don't want to talk about stuff like that. Um, Another thing is when you do talk about serious things, like if you do, people, this is it's something interesting. In real life, people want it to seem easy for you, if that makes sense. Like something really hard. If you starts going off on how hard something is, that seems to lower your status. So if you do hard things, don't act like they were hard. Let other people act like they were hard, but it was easy for you. And then that seems to raise your status. That's something I haven't really talked about stuff like that myself with other people, but I have noticed that when people start just watching the reactions in groups, so that and it could just be what I'm picking up, but I would say that that's probably true for the most part. So if things are hard, did something really hard, don't act like it was hard. Act like it was easy and keep things light, drive their emotions, gaslight them. So drive their emotions, that can be high or low. Probably not low to begin with, like not negative to begin with, but it's definitely better to put them on an emotional roller coaster than to bore them. Like that one saying goes, you can do anything to a woman but bore her. So just don't bore her. I've been using some of these strategies. They seem to be working out well. Like, for example, last night I decided to go out, and it's a shame most of my friends weren't out, but I decided to go out and started talking to these girls at one of the places. And the one girl, she was like really into me, and we were having this great conversation. Of course, I'm trying to use a lot of these strategies, not being serious, all that stuff, and being fun, flirtatious, all that. And it was working. And then her friend came over. Her friend started talking to me a little bit, and then she was like, "Oh, why don't you get one of your friends over here for me?" And so I tried calling some of them, but they weren't answering, and so I couldn't get them over to where I was, and I didn't know where they were, so that that didn't work out as planned. I did get the one girl's Instagram, so I sent her a message on there. I'll see what happens, but didn't didn't go quite as well as it could have gone. So I'll just say that because it was like yeah, it was moving along quite well. And they were also interested in my shirt. The uh, they thought it was supposed to be Donnie Irish, but I I told them, no, he's a musician from where I'm from. So that was kind of interesting. They liked the shirt, and they were talking about the one girl I was talking to. She's like, "Oh, are you gonna wear it next week?" So next week is Fake Patty's Day, is what they have at Kent. Instead of celebrating St. Patrick's Day, they have it on the Saturday, so it's a Fake Patty's Day. And usually it's before St. Patrick's Day, but because of spring break, it's going to be after. So that'll be interesting. And supposedly, that's the biggest holiday here. I don't know for sure yet because I haven't experienced it yet, but my friends have told me it's bigger than Halloween. So that will be interesting to see. But yeah, so that played out well. Some other interesting conversations I've been having have been playing out well. Again, trying to just gaslight, not be serious, be fun, spontaneous. Sometimes maybe interject random things, just at like not like explicit random, but just random things that might drive their emotions towards a certain way, or random questions, random thoughts, and yeah, just see what the response is. Just completely, sometimes completely change the conversation in a good way. But another update is the one girl I was talking to before who had got to come to one of my friend's parties. It, it didn't, I was talking to her back and forth on Instagram and tried to get her to go on a date. She kept giving me excuses that of her work schedule and stuff. Couldn't get her to go on a date. And then I was just like, oh, so you just don't want to go on a date with me? That's fine. And she was like, oh, no, it's nothing against you. And then gave me this like 2 paragraphs worth of excuses. And it's very odd. So I haven't really been talking to her. Some of my friends think, oh, forget about it. Some of the other ones think, oh, wait a little while, then one more Hail Mary, see what happens, then move on from that and just completely dump it. So I'll see what I decide to do. But it's be interesting. I think if I would have been using, I was already trying to use some of these strategies when I started talking to her. If I'd been using even more of them, maybe that would have worked because I am definitely getting better really, really quickly at talking to girls and being able to not control the conversation, but make it interesting, make it vibrant. How about that? That that's probably the right word. So yeah. Other than that, though, it's been everything else has been somewhat okay. It's still somewhat difficult, but it seems like it's getting easier. It's definitely getting easier. So, and it's getting easier to hold their attention. What's so interesting, I think, is I've every single time I've gone out and I've been just at the bar alone, I've I've ended up talking to girls. Like they've either come up and talked to me, or yeah, but usually them. They come up and they start a conversation and stuff. So it's doesn't seem as hard as I'm making out to be. I just need to be able to make it very, very interesting. So I'm still working on it, and I'll try to keep it posted. Again, this is like in my opinion, it's also like an experiment because I think like my situation's almost perfect for this. Just never being allowed to talk to them, and now all of a sudden I can, and now and I don't really have fear of it, so just figure out what is the appropriate way to approach this. So very yeah, very unique situation. But I'm going to try and keep posting about this just to kind of give updates and see what happens, um, and maybe it'll help someone else. I don't know. If nothing else, it should be entertaining. So it's definitely entertaining for me. Um, that's about all I have for now. So I'll try to keep posting about this later.